Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode. I am your host, Stephen G. Gaxiola, and you are listening to The Raider and the Saint.
Anybody here isn't up to it? I'm gonna give you one last chance to walk out that door right now. That's a good one, Hart. Good! That's what I wanted to hear. It's in this silver slice of heaven here at 1,984 ounces of beer. Golden, delicious beer. And no one leaves here until we finish every single last drop.
And I am back, folks. First and foremost, I want to thank all my listeners from around the world that tune in to the Raider and the Saint podcast. Once again, I am your host, Stephen G. Gaxiola. And just came back from vacation. It was a great vacation. Went by really fast. My first actual time taking off from doing this podcast, besides me getting COVID in February. So it was... It felt weird. I really wanted to get. I can't wait till the end of the week to come in and podcast for you guys, and get in here and just meet new people or just bring people in that I've known for many years. So I want to thank everybody that listens on top of the support you guys tell me and come and discuss certain topics or things you want to hear. But once again, thank you everybody, my family, supporters, coworkers, listeners all around that I never met. Thank you so much for your guys' support. But yeah, I did take a vacation. It was well earned. I was in San Clemente for a couple days, hanging out by the pier. It was a good time to relax and just clear my mind and get ready for this second half of the year. You know, we got the Delta variant going around, and people are starting going back in the hospitals. And so we're getting ready to see maybe a possible third wave. So me being got to get mentally prepared. I'm back at the gym now. You know, once I got COVID, I realized I was drinking too much and eating fast food and kind of just, well, the end of the world's going to happen. I might as well just enjoy myself. But now that I had COVID, I got better. I realized, hey, I'm not as healthy as I thought I was. You know, thinking you're a UPS driver, you're moving around all day, you're in and out of the car, you think you're in shape, but technically, I've gone to the doctors, and they would say, you need to do more than that. And I was like, how am I supposed to do more than that if I'm walking or running or moving around for 12 hours a day, and then I'm supposed to go to the gym after that? Maybe I should get on some gear or something. I get my testosterone tested or something like that. But anyways, that was last week. That was my vacation. Just hung out. Friday was my birthday. Shout out to me and myself. I just turned 41, and it was just a relaxation day. Hung out with the family, barbecued some steak, shrimp, lobster tail. My lady made a chocolate cake with almonds on it, so that was cool. Just hung out. Had to work on Saturday. Went in on Saturday, worked, and basically Saturday night just hung out, watched UFC, and just get ready for this podcast today. This guest that I'm going to bring in shortly. I want to thank my past guest, Alex Gomez. Thank you, sir, for coming on the show. I hope all is well, and I can't wait to see you again. Want to give my shout-outs to Wimpy's Pawn Shop. If you guys are looking to buy, sell, or trade, Wimpy's Pawn Shop is the place to go. They are located at 750 West Foothill Boulevard in Azusa, California. Also, another shout-out to my boy, Freddie Morales, loan officer. If you guys are looking for a loan, looking to buy a home, looking to sell maybe, hit up my boy Freddie Morales. You could get a hold of him at mortgagemorales@gmail.com. That's mortgagemorales@gmail.com. If you guys got any inquiries, you want to be on the show, you got any questions or topics you want me to discuss, you can get a hold of me at the Raider and the Saint at outlook.com. That's the Raider and the Saint at outlook.com. I'm also on Instagram. Just type in the Raider and the Saint. Facebook, the Raider and the Saint. Just type in the Raider Saint and shoot me a message, or if you want to come on the show, that would be pretty cool. I'm always looking for content. So my guest today, I think it's his third time coming on. This is episode 90. I had to get him back. He is one of my friends, will always be my friend no matter what we go through in life. You know, you want to judge me, then I'm the biggest piece of shit there ever is. But my friend sitting across from me, Mr. Josh Acosta, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to have you back. I haven't seen you since your episode. We can talk about whatever you want, man. But you said you want. I wanted you to come on, and you said you're willing to come on just as long as you had your work schedule didn't conflict with this time that we get in, and at 10 a.m.
Correct.
So what have you been up to?
Not much. Just basically restarting my whole life over. As you know that Steve and I used to work together.
Yeah, we used to work together. A lot of coworkers listen to the podcast.
And
but yeah, for the people that don't know,
I had left the company late December, early in January. So it's been about 8 months since I've left the company. But it was kind of an interesting way how it happened. It was a mistake I had made at work. And just had to move on from it. Without getting into too many details about it.
So you're let go.
Yeah.
After how many years?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah,
of driving or total time?
Total time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I know that you've been there probably
22.
20, yeah, 5.
I'm going on
years.
23. Yeah. I thought you were in the 20s too.
No, I was. I basically was hired 10 years prior to my other hire date, and I was there for 5 years, and I had left because I had finished.
Oh, like Tanaka.
Yeah, I had left, and I decided to go okay, I got out of school. I was going to school, and I'm like, okay, I think I'll go a corporate type job, like office jobs, and I was doing that for probably 4 or 5 years, and I was miserable. I hated it. I was making $30 grand a year, living at home, 21, 22.
So you were a supervisor the first time around?
Yeah, I was not at UPS.
Okay.
But at a different company. And so this is around the housing market when there was a crash. That was what?
2008?
Yeah, right about there. And because I was doing mortgage stuff too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Refinancing, cold calling people.
Mm-hmm.
And that industry took a dive. So I was like, what did I enjoy doing? In general, where I was the happiest, didn't really care about the money or whatnot. I just remember UPS working in the twilight loading trailers, because for those 4 hours or so, you're just isolated in your own little world, and you're just doing what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not real communication with people, and it kept me in shape.
Mm-hmm. Being isolated, that's crazy. I never thought about it like that, because I used to load trailers. I loaded trailers for about 9 months, close to a year, and I almost quit. I go, fuck this 45-foot trailers. You load one, you're thinking, okay, we're done. No. We're shutting it down. No, here's another. So you think we're done? No, we're just getting started. Here's another trailer. And then during peak, you do 4 of them, and each trailer, some of them were 55-footers, right? And they would fit up to 1,600 packages.
Yeah, and then a lot of times, I forget what they were called, the ones that had the rollers built in.
Yeah, those are the nice ones.
With the flaps on this. Oh, I hated that.
Oh, the flaps? I don't remember those trailers.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like a little sub type.
Oh, yeah. Do we still have those?
I don't know, but those things were dangerous, man.
You would load underneath and shut it off.
Yeah, but I've nicked myself so many times on the bars. You can hurt yourself all kinds of ways in that.
Dude, I have 2 people that jacked up their backs.
Yeah.
While in Twilight, and they had UPS paid for them to go have new careers.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the guys I seen years later, he was right off of Bristol, at a shoe place, Bristol and MacArthur, and I seen him, And I remember him because we used to go party at Cal State Fullerton. He used to live frat row.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked part-time with us. He had more years than us. I think he was like a year or 2 years ahead of us. Still, because back then it was 10 years ago driving.
Mm-hmm. Took 10 years.
Yeah. And he, I remember when one of his shoe busted open, one of the soles popped out. And so he loaded like that all day because he was like a monster. With all this dude's the best loader.
Yeah.
So he took pride in his work.
Yeah.
But anyways, after that, he fucked up his back doing that. And they, I seen him selling shoes a couple years ago. I don't know where he's at now, but I remember him. I won't say his name because I still remember his name. And then I had another buddy I went to high school with. He was picking up an Erig. And, all it takes is one snap.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've been down, my back would pop, and then I wouldn't be able to get out of bed for like 3 months?
I remember this one time I was picking up an E-rig. We were wrapping up the end of the night at the trailer, and I picked the E-rig drivers. Depending on them, they get all kinds of employees. But this one E-rig driver was a scumbag. He's been there forever. He couldn't make it as a driver. He was always bitter. He was just kind of pissed off, and so he just threw the E-rig like as he went by, and he almost hit my foot, and I didn't have any steel-tipped shoes on, and I was like freaking out. So I was like, whatever. So I go and I pick it up, and the whole box gives. And what it was a chainsaw, a used chainsaw, and it had all the liquid. It still had the oil and the gas in it. So it just went all over the floor. And I'm like, dude, how did this guy or person be able to pack it like this? But there, I could have freaking easily cut my freaking foot off.
We say that a lot. Why would a person put this in the box like this?
I know. It just doesn't make sense.
Yesterday I had a 140-pound box. It was the Oz bed, Dr. Oz.
Oh, okay.
It was one of his beds. I guess he's selling beds now.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker was upstairs. It wasn't the first door either. It's the one down the way. And it was fucking huge. It was as tall as the truck. And I had to fucking pull it up the stairs, dude. And let me tell you, man, if I wasn't working out like I have been, there's no way I would have been able to do that. There's no fucking way. I would have to ask. It was close. I was like, oh, because you got to roll it up. Yeah, but it's 140 pounds. Have you ever rolled 140 pounds up? That's like getting a 140-pound tire.
Yeah.
How heavy did those tires get? Those ones that they're flipping them over.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I know, like hitting them with sledgehammers.
Yeah, I wonder how heavy those are. Well, this was package 45 pounds.
Dude, that's like
it was like 143. Fuck, and the box was beat up too. That's the problem. The box is beat up.
It's all awkward.
The bottom, I took it out of the truck. The bottom ripped out, and had to throw stuff back in there and just, you could fold boxes certain ways. But fuck, dude, these people that are ordering shit like that is like, we shouldn't be delivering. That should be a 2-person job.
Yeah.
And I know I can call in and ask for help, but when's that gonna fucking show
driver,
up?
And it takes time to get the driver to come out and all that other whatever.
Yeah, drivers will do it too.
Yeah. Don't
fucking sit there for 2 hours. Well, I'm not moving until no. You got to keep going. Well, I'm done already. I got to wait fucking 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking that greedy, dude. You can take the.
I remember when I first started driving back in the day, like in South OC. It was in Irvine, and God, this is when TVs were like, they weren't as light as they are today. Like the big screen TVs. So like, it was a rookie mistake. And it was in Irvine. It was a 3-story apartment complex. So I'm like, oh great, it's on the 3rd floor, but no elevator. And like your situation with your bed, I had, how am I gonna get this TV up? So I kind of maneuver it and I tumble it up there, and I get it up there. And as I get close, I see a note on the door, and you know that infamous note on the door, right? So I get to the door, and then they're refusing the package. So I worked that TV up to the 3rd floor, no elevator, and now they're refusing the package. Man, I was so pissed. So now I've learned on that, I would always check if they were home first or if we weren't going to refuse the damn thing.
Should have just left it. You should have took the note down and ripped it.
I know. But then I knew I had a feeling that the next day I'd have to go retrieve it. So.
Yeah, if it was your route, if it was somebody else, I would just left it there.
I know, but it wasn't my route. Like I said, I was like, I had.
It doesn't matter. People don't do their call tags anyways.
Yeah, they never do.
Yeah, working in the hub, man. That was reason why I went in detail with that is because you said being secluded.
Oh, being isolated. Yeah.
Being isolated, right? When I went driving, it was hard at first, right? You got to learn addresses. I didn't know odds and evens were on the other side. Yeah. I didn't really know north to south. I kind of, I was 24, didn't know too many freeways. But when you go driving, it's a whole new world. And you're either going to catch up, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Now you got kids with phones. Now I know people that are typing in every address. I think my brother was doing that. He was when he first started driving. He started putting in
every
stop, and he was way behind. I says, you got to put that phone down. You don't got time to do that. We're not delivering fucking flowers.
Yeah,
we're not Uber.
Well, like. I must say, like, I don't know how he was trained, but, like, with my training, it was, like, I mean, it's changed a lot throughout the years, in the past 5 years at least or so, with your guys, the whole new program with the map built in.
Did you see the YouTube, was it on YouTube, where it shows how they train now? Weren't they flying people to Atlanta or whatever they're holding class, and then there was video online where they were walking on the treadmill with the package? Did you ever see that?
No.
Yeah. And then they had like a harness on them, and they were like bending down, picking the package up, and the harness was like just keeping them steady.
To train drivers?
I'll show you the video. I'll look for it. I'll find it. Yeah, they were on the treadmill. But I know a couple of drivers that went to, I don't know, was it Atlanta or Chicago?
That's unreal, dude. Take like an old school driver, like
Who trained you?
This guy Robert Siskowski is in South OC.
Ike, remember Ike? Do you hear Ike?
Ike Hampton, right?
Ike, or was it Ike Turner?
No, Ike Hampton.
Ike Hampton. He used to play baseball for the Angels.
Yeah, he's like a catcher. I think a catcher.
Dude, he was a good teacher. I wanted that position.
He was a really cool guy. I caught him at the end of his like career at UPS, like while he was training in Laguna, the facility, and he's still around. Like he's like retired. He's living pretty good.
Well, back then, 2004 till 2004, I started driving. So 2003, I took the class.
Was that in Anaheim?
No, it was in Laguna, and then they had the UPS school bus.
With
the windows, and you drive stick, and that was hard because I never drew stick.
A lot of people.
I had to learn how to drive stick then.
A lot of people don't.
Now my Mustang's a stick, and
dude,
I don't drive it as much anymore. I'm kind of.
I mean, like
over the whole stick, but it when I do take it out, it's nice.
Yeah. But dude, the whole stick thing, like that disqualifies so many people because they didn't
get the concept.
It wasn't like they've never they never had to drive stick until like your situation.
Now there's no stick.
Exactly. Like look at all the package cars. You don't see any of them that are stick anymore. You know, and I actually enjoyed them. I got used to them after a while because it was just
the old school one was 4 gears.
Yeah. And you always start in second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember I had one time my clutch went out on a package car. And so my on-road's like, you can't just like get it done. And I'm like, no, man. It's dangerous. And so
you can't get it done. What do you want me to go Fred Flintstone style?
No, it was so funny, dude. And I was like, a lot of times when these on-road soups would say stuff like that to me,
hey, I broke my leg. Can you get it done?
I would always like, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of, are you just messing with me? Are you being serious?
Like, hey, my clutch blew out. Can you still get it done? Oh, my God.
And so, like, they were trying to tell me how to dead stick it. Like, where you leave it, and you say, I pull up to a light, and I can't get out of gear, but just turn it off and then take it out of gear where you can finesse it out of the gear and you can kind of cruise. And then at the light, you can put it in the gear and then you got to turn the package car off. And when you're ready to go, you got to turn the key on right
Yeah,
time.
but back
and
then,
step on
but back then, if you turn the car off, the brake wouldn't work.
Yeah, it was this whole menu, and I'm like, no, you guys.
That's too
I
much.
said, they're like, okay, we're gonna send you out a new car. He's gonna bring an empty car out to me. So then he comes out, he gets the package car, and then he comes out, meets me up. He backs up to me, and we're exchanging packages, and we do all that, and I look, there's no gas. Like, he left the building without getting gas in the package car.
Oh my god!
So then we had to take the packages back out again.
Are these guys still supervisors?
No. He took all the packages out, so he took the package car back, and then he ran out of gas on the way there back to the building. And instead of like maybe going to the gas station and using his own or using a credit card to get gas, he's gonna drive back to the building. So on the 133, he ran out of gas. So now he's waiting for a mechanic, and I'm waiting for a mechanic. Dude, it was unbelievable. I was like, this, and like that was years ago, dude.
Yeah.
And like I think about like now, I bet you this stuff still happens.
Just not to us, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what are the things they're complaining about? Excuse me. Is they have the new package cars with the little white thing on top?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's supposed to keep the car, the package car
In the back, cool.
be in the back cooler, right?
Uh-huh.
So someone's already complaining and saying, why do they have that on their car and I don't have it in mine? That's discrimination.
What? Oh my god!
I said, well, obviously those guys work harder than you, so it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
There's like someone like me who shows up to work twice a week or 3 times a week and complaining because I'm driving a budget and everyone's driving brand new Wallies.
Yeah. So with at UPS with this whole pandemic and this Delta variant, has it been getting bad?
It's
there,
just
or?
No. They went back to, we could take our masks off for like 2 weeks and then they're back on again.
Oh, okay.
But I keep it on and then I take it off.
Yeah.
Everyone's just, I don't know. Everyone's just, if they gave us an option, I guarantee you all drivers won't be wearing a mask.
Yeah. Well, I think what I've noticed since this past summer, and then everyone's just at the point of like they're over it. They're just like, well, I don't care if it's gonna happen to me, it's gonna happen or whatever.
Well, I said that too until I fucking got it, dude. But the thing is, these masks ain't really protecting you. Mm-hmm. We should be wearing hazmat suits if that's the case. These masks don't prevent anything. If it wants to get through the virus, it wants to get through. Wearing a mask is like wearing a basketball net around your face and throwing darts at your face. Mm-hmm. They don't work. I mean, look, for example, your roommate, he got it twice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, twice.
And I'm sure he was wearing the N95 mask.
Yeah, and face shield. And now, like, so his facility was like, well, with this whole spike and everything, it's basically a senior living, elderly facility he works at, and so they don't have no cases yet. But recently, his coworker.
Do they all have the shot?
Yeah.
So now everyone's got the shot.
Yeah, if they're not vaccinated, they can't be working for that company.
Wow.
That's how that's what they're going to. And I understand it's a healthcare facility, and that's the industry he works in. But his coworker got it, so he had to get tested, and so now they're back to getting tested once a week, every Tuesday.
And his buddy had the vaccine.
He had he was vaccinated.
So how did he know he had it? He felt like shit?
I think he said he had like a headache or something or another. And so the work said, oh, go get tested. And he got tested and he was positive. So like that there, it's like he's vaccinated and he can still get it. So regardless, you can still get it, the Delta variant, from my understanding, vaccinated or not.
No, it's coming out now. It's not in mainstream yet. But from a lot of things, I do a lot of research during the week. I listen to both sides, left, the right, the middle, the extreme. and what they're saying, and so a lot of stuff that I do see does come to light. Like a lot of stuff that I would say to some people, oh, you're crazy, and then it's happening now. It's like everyone's on board now. Remember when it first happened, everyone was running to guns. Some people were like, why are you buying all your guns? Well, I go, dude, I like, first of all, I like to collect. I've always wanted to collect guns. But seeing what can happen in the world, what's happening around the world with governments and terrorists, and once you start opening your eyes, you're going, I want to be able to protect myself. Well, now, obviously, I can't, if 100 people come to the house, could I take them all out if I only just had a 38 or if I had an AR? Because some people ask these questions, well, why do you have an AR? Why do you need something like that? Well, usually the people that are asking now are the ones that never built their own gun.
Well, I mean, like, I'm never a big gun person, but I do enjoy guns. Like, I like guns. I like weapons, but I understand when people are like, oh, why do you have an AR-15? Is it necessary? I'm like, you know what? It's your First Amendment right to have a gun, right? Mm-hmm. Like, no, it's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
But
it's our Second Amendment.
It's one of your amendments to have a gun.
Second Amendment.
And so, by all means, bro, have a gun. Have at it. I mean, it's not bothering me. As long as you're not pointing a thing at me, then fine.
Well, whenever there's a shooting, like in Corona.
Oh, yeah.
That
movie theater.
It was a girl and a guy that got killed, right?
She had.
It was one of my friends' friends. It was my one of my best friends. It was his friend's son, or no, closer. Well, it was his friend's his friend, like close friend's daughter.
Oh, okay, yeah, from which she had just graduated high school, I think. They both went to Mater Dei High School. And yeah, and it was the movie they were watching. It was that Purge movie, Forever
Purge. You watch those movies?
Yeah, dude, I love those movies.
You like them?
Yeah, dude. I know, like, they're kind of like
corny.
They're corny, but the first one was good. Like, it was all right, but as they keep making more of them, they push the envelope to like how much more.
It's like we have technology for 10K, but we're not going to put that out yet. We're going to make you keep buying and buying. So we'll start with regular television, even though they had 4K back in the 50s. And same thing with the movies. We're going to, until it gets like it's like right now, Fast and the Furious, dude, they just Fast went 9. To the fucking outer space.
Yeah, I know.
They're racing cars in outer space now. That's what one of my customers told me. I go, what the fuck?
Did you see that movie yet?
No, I haven't, so but I will watch it.
Okay, so I watched it. I mean, like, I love movies, and I just don't go to movie theaters anymore. It's a giant waste of time. Anyway, so, yeah, I watched that one, and I was like, I knew what I was going to get myself into because I saw the preview for it. I mean, the storyline's going to be awful. I mean, it was just the fact that it's a franchise movie from, I've always watched the Fast and the Furious movies. And,
me too, yeah.
And this one by far is the most extreme of like, I was like, oh my God. Like, for really? Like the stunts and the maneuvers and all that stuff. And then, I mean, it was a corny cliche lines,
It's all about family.
Yeah, like Vin Diesel, his one-liner is like, "It's all about family. It's family." It's like, dude. And I'm like, damn, Vin Diesel's look kind of old, man. He's more like late 40s, maybe 50 now. Yeah, because I watched the original.
Well, yeah, the original came out in what 2001,
like 20 years ago. Yeah, and so he's probably like mid-20s when he was doing it.
Yeah, 25,
maybe 28. But he looked old. Like, they all did. Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm like, man.
Well, they come out with the one. When was the last time? Well, they were bringing them out for a bit.
And they kind of halted, and then there was like that Tokyo Drift.
So, let's see. They just did, was this 9? F9?
Yeah.
So, 9. So, every 2 years, maybe?
Yeah, like every other year. But it all changed, too. This probably would have came out earlier if it wasn't for the pandemic. A lot of movies, like, were being made, and they got halted.
A lot of Hollywood production companies are hurting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their revenue comes from movie theaters. and I know there's Scarlett Johansson. She did Black Widow, and I heard that she's pissed because she's not getting a cut because they did it theaters, some theaters, and then they did in-home theater. She's not getting a cut from that. And I think she got paid $20 million for that movie too.
So I think like what also happened too, like Kevin Hart, there's a movie on Netflix now with Kevin Hart. It's a newer movie I think called Fatherhood. It's basically about how his wife passed away at birth while giving birth to their child. So I think that was a Sony movie.
They sold it,
and they sold it to Netflix just to get it out there because it wasn't gonna.
Did you watch it?
I started watching it, dude, but I was like, I can't watch it. Like, I can't see Kevin Hart
being serious.
Yeah, like it was just like, yeah.
I know he is serious.
Yeah,
I'm sure
he
behind the
can
scenes
be.
he's serious, but his character is funny.
Yeah, like just he's always played that like role really well. It's always fit him. So
Yeah, he's a comedian.
yeah,
He's the only one that can sell out football stadiums.
yeah. He's
No one else can.
I was watching I went to recently saw Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan in Vegas in early July.
So you've seen them in Vegas. When did you go see them? Recently?
July 9th.
Oh shit!
So
I saw that.
yeah, it was it's pretty crazy because, well, my brother was telling me about it, and I'm like, oh, they are, and he's like, and he and we always go to these like shows.
Have you ever seen them before?
I've seen Chappelle. This would be like my fourth or fifth time, and Joe Rogan never. Like back in the day before he got really big, he was actually performing at the Ice House or somewhere in Fullerton or Anaheim, like small type of venue.
Really? They have the comedy stores around there?
Yeah, there's an improv. And,
Bray Improv?
Yeah, there's Bray Improv.
And there's some else.
Yeah, I think it was called the Ice House or.
Where is that at?
In Fullerton or Anaheim, right off the freeway.
Is it still there?
No, I don't know. It could be, but who knows where. Anyhow, I remember I was going to go see him, and his tickets were like $10-15. And I was like, the UFC guy? Like, this is before I, really cut, like, he had just had his podcast starting, and I wasn't really into it that much yet. And then,
What year was this again?
I want to say like 15 years ago, dude. Maybe 10.
2010?
Yeah.
No, wait, I'll be 2008.
But yeah, I heard about it. I was
Maybe
like,
10.
and my friend had an extra ticket. And I was like, nah. It was on a Sunday too. I remember because I had to go to work the next day, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. The thing, I'm like, man, I should have gone. And so I was pretty excited when I heard that these two guys were coming together.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I didn't realize how close of friends they actually are.
Well, they met at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
or the Ice House. I forgot where they initially met. They would go all the time, but they were in their 20s.
Yeah, they were young.
I think he was 20. Who's older, Chappelle or Rogan?
I think I want to say Rogan.
Yeah, because
Rogan's
Chappelle was
older.
24.
Because he started
And I
comedy
think he was
really
28.
young. He started comedy when he was like 15.
Who, Chappelle?
Yeah. He's a pretty interesting guy. Like, how his mom would take him to comedy spots to do stand-up. It's pretty crazy. Like, what mom would take their 15-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid?
I thought that was Kevin Hart. Didn't they do that, Kevin Hart?
No. Well, maybe. But his Chappelle's mom would take him.
Would take him.
Yeah, when he was a teenager.
Well, I have all the Dave Chappelle shows at home. I used to watch the show all the time.
Yeah.
I had everyone. But how they met, though, is from through comedy. And then one day, Joe Rogan was in New York. He said this on his podcast. He's in New York, and back then, Dave Chappelle was doing his show, the Chappelle Show. And he was doing the one where he wears the fake mustache, and he rates boobies throughout New York.
Oh, yeah, New York boobs.
Then we rate New York boobs. And then Joe Rogan came through, and he seen him. He goes, Dave, what are you doing? He goes, I'm doing a show, Dave. I'm doing a show, Joe. You want to be on the show? And then he was like, well, I only got a couple. I got like someone to be in like an hour. He goes, no, it takes 20 minutes or whatever. And so they did it. And I remember it because I have the seasons saved. But he says that's how he
got
You
to
know,
start doing the
yeah.
because he also did the whole remember the Fear Factor parody
Oh yeah, he did Fear Factor.
with
Yeah.
what's his name?
The Joe was he in the skit?
Joe Rogan was because at the time Joe Rogan was
Yeah.
hosting for Fear Factor,
Mhm.
and so Chappelle played God, I'm brain fart. The character's name, not Ashy Larry. It's the dude, the crackhead. He's
Oh.
always like this. He's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, he eats everything.
yeah. Gosh, I am. trying.
Yeah, my brain blanks
Brain
out all the
fart.
time, dude. When I
I'm
do
getting
the
old,
podcast.
man.
No, it's not getting old. It's just the mics and the cameras and all
Uh-huh.
that. It takes a little bit from. We're trying to do our best here. You know, I always tell people just relax. Who gives a shit? They'll come to you. They'll come to you. But so you went to go see them.
Oh yeah. So, I forgot where we're going with this.
No,
So-
well, I seen Joe Rogan too,
Mhm.
and I seen Joey Diaz. I love comedy.
Mhm.
One of the things I love comedy. I love to laugh. I don't laugh enough on this podcast. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Everything just seems to be serious and going through tough times, and that's fine. I mean, this is the way the podcast has leaned to. But
Yeah.
once people know me personally, once I come out of here, I'm gonna go upstairs, probably have a drink and laugh and just relax. But you know, tell me the experience though. How was it being in where was the
it was
arena?
at the MGM Grand.
Okay, was
So
it
I
the theater or
haven't,
the
like-
arena?
The arena.
So how many people does arena fit? Do you know?
God, I don't even know.
I think it's like 16,000.
It's just huge, man.
I don't think it's 24.
But it was set up like a whole like boxing ring type deal, like
Yeah.
it was like right in the center and how they stand, and so they were kind of like they move around a lot, like they walk around, they don't sit, they just kind of like work the floor in a sense.
Mhm,
So, yeah, it was like got there early. Doors open at 7, so I guess they're having issues with it in the past because like people getting in and whatnot.
Well,
But-
they want everybody seated
Yeah, because that way they just kind of get the show
because they're just
going.
talking. It's not a rock band.
Yeah. But initially, I guess the night before, Thursday night, they were giving out masks with I guess Joe Rogan on it, and all the people that were showing up for Thursday's show, like apparently the security was telling me like, they didn't want the face mask, they wanted the Chappelle face mask because on Dave Chappelle it's like it's got his name on it, like his whole logo with the C on it, and so I thought that was like, yeah, that's kind of messed up. Like, Joe Rogan just...
How many people you think were there for Joe and then for Chappelle?
Oh, I think a majority of them were for Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
So I know.
They're all different
like,
subcultures.
Yeah, I know, but it's quite interesting because I was looking at the people, and it was a big melting pot of people. Old, young, I mean, all races, white, black, Asian. Like, it was like... And I can kind of see, like, your question, I can see their demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Like a guy like Bill Burr, you can see like older, like 40s white guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like his demographic.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a lot of fans. Like, but majority that's like you can see that group at the audience and be like, oh, they're here for that. Because a lot of people actually walked out on Chappelle, like while I was there.
Really?
Yeah, because like, his jokes. He doesn't really hold back. And he went on his whole rant because, the LBGTQ, whatever. He calls them the alphabet people. And he's like, yeah, they all love me, but the only ones that don't like me are the T's. And he goes in on his whole rant. And I don't know. I think a lot of it, like, it bothered some people, the audience. Or maybe they just had somewhere to go.
When I took my lady to see Joey Diaz at the Bray Improv, it was my second time seeing him.
Uh-huh.
I learned from Joe Rogan because when I started listening to his podcast, he had just started.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own route. It was all residential route. And I got tired of listening to music. I could only listen to music for 12 hours, it was insane. I can't be that pumped up. Then I got to switch to Genuine to slow me down. Then I start crying. It's like, fuck. And so I came across the podcast thing on the iPhone. And then I was like, Joe Rogan, that's the Fear Factor guy. And then, no, my bad. I was like, oh, that's the UFC guy. He's the guy that commentates. And I was, oh, yeah, he's also the Fear Factor guy. And I didn't know he was a comedian.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
A lot of people didn't.
When we were in Vegas, we did a trip years ago, at least 10 years ago. Me and my lady, we seen Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz. I wanted to see both of them because he would have Joey Diaz on his show, and he was fucking hilarious. He was truthful. He spoke from the heart, and he made it funny. And so when they were both in Vegas, like, we're going. This is when Nate Diaz choked out McGregor.
Oh, okay.
It's the first fight. So
Okay.
I don't know if that was 10 years ago, maybe 8.
It's probably 8 years ago, I'd say.
And so I remember he choked him out because I put money on Nate Diaz. And I was like, okay. So anyways, Joe's okay. He has his sense of humor, and people like it, and it was okay. But I laughed more with Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
And even Joe Rogan says they had, one of his podcasts he just had. He had the owner from Black Rifle Coffee. Can't think of his name right now. But he was asking Joe who's the best comedians right now, and he said one of them he said was Joey Diaz. Is probably one of the best.
Yeah.
So I seen Joey again in Brea, and that's when I got to meet him. He came up to me, shook my hand after the show, patted me on the back, and it was I was already listening to his podcast already. Joey Diaz, dude, that's one of the. I think he's so funny. But I took my lady to watch, and I thought she was gonna get cringy because he does talk about some dirty shit.
Yeah, it gets pretty raunchy.
Yeah, he gets pretty raunchy.
Yeah.
Well, my lady was cool, but yeah, some people did walk out.
Yeah, like, I mean, oh God, I don't know if we'll get in this conversation, but like this, not saying this whole Me Too thing, but cancel culture. And so I think it's funny when people are coming at comedians for saying some raunchy shit
Yeah.
that shouldn't be said in everyday life. But I'm like, these people are comedians. They're here to make you laugh, you know. And if they gotta drop a few F-bombs to get you there, then so be it. But it's like, you gotta know what you're going into. And it's like, so if you're gonna go as a fan or a person, then why would you go and heckle a comedian that's there to make you guys laugh?
I hate when they finish a joke, or like those guys that go to the movies and they've been there 12 times, seen the movie, and they start repeating the sentences. I know that bothers me.
Like,
they finish their joke, or they'll add on after he does the joke. It's stupid.
It's
Shut up.
Dude, like, especially now, like, so that was the first time me going out since this, to something, an event, since this whole pandemic. You know, June was my birthday. I was gonna do something, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be around all these people or just go out to a bar. You know, like, I haven't been to a bar since this whole thing. And even now that we can go out and do things, I still don't know if I want to go and sit at the bar and just have a drink. Unless I'm with people, like a group of people. But even then,
no, I've been doing the podcast and going home. There's bars all around here.
It's so weird. Like, it's like, and everyone's like, oh, what'd you do this week? And I'm like, oh, I just stayed home, man. Like, what is like, oh, you can go out. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to go out. You know, like, I only go out if I necessarily need to. And that Vegas trip was like my trip, and just to go out. And I'm vaccinated. So I'm not worried about getting it, but it's just like, I have really no desire to go out and do shit like that anymore. So.
Did you get COVID twice?
The second time, no.
But your roommate did. Is he still your roommate?
Yeah, we're still roommates. So that second time he got it, I didn't get it. But regardless,
was he really out for 14 days? Was it tough?
Yeah, he actually was sick, and I thought he was just like, yeah, I'm like, dude, you're just hungover. You know?
Yeah.
I thought, dude, you're just hungover, because he doesn't drink. He's not a heavy drinker, but it was a Sunday, so the night before we had drink. And I'm like, you just hungover. And then that Monday, he looked bad. Like, he looked pale, and he was like, we have stairs going up to the bedroom and then he was like having a hard time with that. And I was like, I'm like, great. So luckily, no, I didn't get it the second, like when he got it the second time. But yeah, during that whole time, the second time he had it, and I was quarantined with him. You know, well, he didn't drink, but all I did was drink, dude. This was in December last year.
Yeah, when did you leave UPS? What month was that?
December.
Yeah.
So I had a quarantine like the beginning of December. And so, yeah, man, just started during that whole time being quarantined, just drank every day, dude. kind of like it was like, oh, cool, because before all that, you know, we were UPS drivers have crazy hours, dude.
Yeah.
It's so draining, and so like yourself, you got time off recently, and so it's just nice when you have that time off.
How did it feel, man, when you didn't get your job back?
Well, like getting into that with a whole, like building up to it with the whole situation, me coming into work and with all this suspicion and whatnot, and yeah, not getting my job back, it kind of sucked, dude. Like I thought for sure I was gonna get my job back, but it was gonna be a lot of contingencies in a sense of like, you know, maybe like a probation period for 6 months or whatever, you know. And it didn't work out as planned. Like I really didn't like how the union handled it, like in a sense.
Is that the new
I had a guy help, Nick Bruno.
Okay.
I don't know the deal now. I don't know if he's still the union guy or not, but like, so like it was good in a sense of how they were trying to handle it.
Do you think it could have been held differently if there was a better representation?
If I had Wayne Addison, dude, I think it would have helped a lot more of how he would have handled it differently.
Yeah.
But he was at the time, he wasn't there. Like he probably months before that, him and Roberts.
Yeah.
Had stepped down. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention like what happened, but he was no longer a representative.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of bummed about. But I had some other guy that didn't know me, just looked at my file.
He saw that you COVID twice. Okay.
He doesn't. I mean, like, didn't know him personally, and I'm not saying I gotta know the guy personally, but it always kind of helps. You know, like I said, like a guy like Wayne. I wish I had Wayne in my corner at that time, but I don't. He might have helped a little bit more, but who knows how it all would have played out. I really don't know. But when I didn't get my job, I was pretty upset, and yeah, I got a little depressed, you know, and then I started kind of drinking again, and it was just a whole roller coaster of shit. You know, like I was just like, what am I going to do? And so luckily, I mean, I was able to find another job and just get back on my feet. But yeah, with representation, I think it would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
Because
you're not a bad guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah,
I've made mistakes. I could have lost my job 100,000 times. You know.
Like there's all like my fellow drivers. I know there's so many other people that are doing a lot more worse things than I'm doing.
Yeah, well, we can't. We can't say anything like that.
I know.
Those are our brothers and sisters.
I know. That's what I was saying. But like, I'm just saying, like, I hope they learn from my mistake and they say, "Wow, that guy," because like, if it could happen to me, they could happen to them. And so, like, a few of the people I do talk to, I know I'm like, "Hey, guy, be careful. Like, just think of what would you know, a lot of these guys they're married with kids.
Well, we got sensors now in the car. They know what everybody's doing.
What more sensors?
Yeah,
you got sensors.
We got sensors. We got a new box. It's a sensor.
Oh, really?
It's not a camera because it's illegal to videotape. In the state of California, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but they're sensors, so they can sense. Like somebody was drinking a water bottle, and I guess they were drinking it for too long while they were driving, and the machine told them to put your water bottle down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If you slam on your brakes too fast, because it's a green dot in the middle of this little computer thing, green dot. And whenever you do something, the green dot in either left or the right turns red. So it'll start going red like Knight Rider. Remember Kit?
Yeah.
It starts
Little
doing that.
LED
It starts
light.
making, dude, it makes all kinds of noises.
So
Every time I do something, it makes a different noise. I go, what the fuck did it make that noise for? Now I'm driving thinking, what the fuck did I do? I think it's because I park on the wrong side of the street sometimes. You know, I walk on the wrong side, put the flashers on,
yeah.
get out, and, you know. It's more safer to do it that way than it is to park on the right side and go right. You know, I'm trying to save time here. Yeah, but every time I pull off, it would make a noise. I'm like, I think they know I'm driving on the wrong side of the road.
That's crazy. Man, like, just think about like where we are today, with the black boxes and the new sensors on the trucks. What, 15 years ago they didn't have that, but progressively they've been doing these technology to use because of the situations drivers, the employees have put themselves in or have gotten themselves in. Like, I remember before I started driving, like, I was a part-time driver, and all the old school drivers would always talk about back in the day. They would be like, man, we would all meet at the park.
Have lunch.
One guy would bring the meat. We'd barbecue. We'd play basketball. They'd bring their lawn chairs. Like, and then one driver's like, yeah, I would go home and sit next to at my pool and this and that. And as time has gone on, the company's like, wait, you guys aren't being efficient with your time, and you're taking time from this and that.
When Ed first came out,
yeah,
and they can track where you are with your diad board.
Yeah, then
there was a driver that was going from Fountain Valley all the way to Anaheim Hills.
Oh my God,
Yorba Linda, my bad, Yorba Linda.
Yeah, that's just as far.
Every day, and then one time the supervisor, part-time suit, he goes, look at what you're doing. He's been on the show too. Look at this guy. And I go, fuck. He went all the way over there. And like, it just sees this big old line, and then the line come back. So he was going home for lunch. You know, so if you're doing that, you might as well, here's an extra 20, 30 stops. Now these guys are always complaining that they got work they're working hard. Yeah,
well, so like with that, like, so those guys basically ruined it for us, for you guys. Like, you know, not say ruined it, but where they were saying like, well, with that from Fountain Valley to Anaheim or Yorba Linda, that's a far drive. That's like what, 15 miles?
Yeah,
20 miles maybe.
Yeah,
each way.
I mean, they got dealt with. Trust me.
Yeah,
so all this new technology,
it's there for a purpose.
Somebody's gonna get,
and it's for the company to basically like Big Brother to watch you.
Well, not like a lot of people drive with the phone still in their ear.
Yeah.
While they're working. Who does that? I don't know, but I know people do it.
I've seen a bus driver doing it. I've seen a trash man doing it.
The trash people, they have the sensors. They had it first.
But it's like, in the end, I understand it's for safety reasons and production reasons. And it's for them to like observe and see you guys like all the time.
Do you think it's another tool to fire discipline drivers?
Discipline too. Because, you know, like, be honest, like, they can't be everywhere at once.
It's too much, dude.
They can't be everywhere at once.
They're all over me.
Yeah, like, and then it's like
every day. Somebody told me every day I walk in, I fear for losing my job. I go, why? But they're not doing anything bad, though. That's like, the thing.
I felt that way for a while, all the time, and then after a while, I stopped caring. I was like, before, like, probably a good 6 months to a year before. Not getting my job back, I felt like,
this is how I think, and I tell people, I go, as long as you're doing better than Sandman, I go, you're safe. You know who I'm talking about?
No. Oh yeah, Sandman.
Yeah. I go, if they can't fire that guy, I go, just follow whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, man.
Everything's by the book.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to talk too much of him. I'll probably get sued. That's why I don't say names or anything like that.
It's funny. But
I hated to see you get fired. I wish I would have known. I wish somebody would have told me. I would have tried to do whatever I could for you.
Yeah, it was
but we do have bad union representation right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that you weren't the only one that lost their jobs that probably could have had their jobs saved.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on within the union. Me and Phil, we started our own union podcast. We do it once a month. Missed last month because of scheduling and everything, but we're working on strengthening it again. We'll get it back, but I agree with you. I felt if we had different union representation, we could have saved a job. Because look, man, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we all make mistakes, like you said. And it was like my first offense, and I mean, it really depends on how they want to play it, you know? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, luckily, no one was injured. No one got hurt. You know, it could have been worse, the scenario. But at the same time, it's like, I said, they could have suspended me or some kind of probation. That's what I was thinking. You know, plus the amount of time I was with the company. I mean, you mean to tell me I made it this far with the company to get here and then all of a sudden decide to do this or this to happen? If I was going to do that, I would have done that in the freaking warehouse, you know? Those kids would always, you know, do stupid ass shit in the warehouse to get fired. You know, they'd steal stuff and whatnot, but with that, yeah, I hope it does get back to being stronger, the union. Because as I see it, it just keeps getting weaker and weaker. And a lot less people caring about it. Whereas
this is the problem. A lot of people ain't caring about it. And if they are caring about it, some of them are backing up people that haven't really proved themselves yet.
Yeah.
I hear stories from everybody that come and tell me about all these people that started, you know, that took over. Or let's just put it this way. The people Jimenez put into place. Because we can say that.
Okay.
Jimenez put these people into place. I haven't seen anything positive coming from that yet.
And that's the people from the new slate, right?
Yeah.
And then how long? That was like in the past 2 years?
They're going to run again in another year, I think.
So they've been in for 3 years now.
No, it's every 3, right? They're on their second year.
Okay. Because I know that. Okay, yeah, it was right around the pandemic time, I think they came.
Grant only lost by 100. I think it was like 161 votes.
You know, with
that's
him,
not a lot.
No, it's not. Actually, Grant was a guy he actually got things done.
Well, the reason why I support him is because when I was going through my tough times and my addiction and my problems, I know that, okay, I need to go and talk to someone up top. Because to me, this was something important. I want to make sure my job's protected. And there's a lot of things. And so I didn't go to shop stewards. There's no disrespect to them. Yeah. They were good. But I needed more. I needed a little bit more advice. So I went to the business agent, which was Grant at the time. And I asked him a question. It was a legitimate question. And he tells me, he goes, I don't have that answer for you, but I will by the end of the day. And you know what? He would call me back. And it happened it didn't happen once. It had a couple handful of times, no more than a handful. But he always came back with an answer where I was able to make my own decision and go about what I needed to do. Because there are a lot of a contract, but there's a lot of loopholes. Just like in America with the laws and everything and how they have loopholes and how to beat taxes and all that. Same type of stuff. But he was always there with an answer.
Yeah, no, he's a
I've called, and wouldn't even get a call back, or maybe 2 days later. You know, that I don't have too many experiences. I don't want to have to deal with them. But for people that had to deal with them, I know there was a grievance supposed to be filed and never got filed. There's a lot of things that we got to give them a chance, right?
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give them a chance. But everyone telling me things, they're not doing it. And you happen to have to go through that with this.
Yeah. Well, actually, going back with Grant, I had my experience with him like that. He's a pretty straight up guy. If he didn't know the answer to something, or he didn't know he wouldn't just give you some BS answer. He'd find out for sure and get back to you.
Yeah.
And he always got back to me. I never had to go and hound him hey, so what's the deal with this or that? Because I know that they're busy guys being a business agent. You're not the only employee, with problems. But I guess overall, I guess I'll just come clean with it. Basically, I had lost my job at UPS through toxicology, showing up to work
drunk.
Yeah. But honestly, I wasn't drunk. If I was that drunk, why would I show up to work? But anyways, that's a whole different thing.
I don't think you were drunk. I think you were just hungover.
Yeah, I was hungover, and I drank a lot the night before. And it was literally 2 days before Christmas. So it was around the holidays, I was pretty excited. I was like, oh, my family, you're gonna see the family and all that stuff, whatnot. And yeah, it was my first day back from quarantine. And so basically, the whole incident happened. They had to do this whole toxicology testing. They take you to the clinic. They do urine and blood. And obviously, my numbers were pretty high. For high enough for the company where it's like, you're not going to take you back. But prior to all that, the union had suggested that I go to a sober living for 30 days and to complete the program, to show UPS how serious I was taking this whole thing. And so which I did. I went to the program. I've never been to a sober living, never, ever. And everyone that I've talked to, they're like, you've never been? Like, I'm like, does everybody go?
So it's not a rehab. It
was like a sober living. Like
halfway house.
Yeah, well, initially you go to detox. The first step is, I think you go a week, 10 days through detox.
By yourself?
No, there's other people there. It's a house. It's like a sober living house, but it's a detox.
What do they do for
detox?
Did you detox?
Yeah, they basically you go in and they assess you, and I didn't know what coming into it. They told me to pack for a week. So I thought I was just gonna be there for a week in a program, and it was in LA. So I just decided that day. I think it was day before. It was before Christmas. All right. Yeah, before Christmas. I was in a rehab, and the union was like, okay, if you're going to do this, you need to do this now, and they were like, they're going to start the paperwork and this and that. And like, I guess me doing it, I mean, it was kind of halting the quote unquote terminating me.
Yeah.
So I went and did that. And, so in the beginning, the first week is detox, and then they assess you. You get in there. They do your vitals and all.
And who's paying for this? The union?
My insurance.
Your insurance, okay.
Yeah. And so they do all that, and I'm 42, and everyone there in their 20s, they're all there for fentanyl.
Oh, yeah,
they're
fentanyl.
25 and younger, and everyone 30 and above, all alcoholics. And it was like, and so going through all that, they would give us medication. I forget what they were giving me, but to wean myself off alcohol, because I didn't know it.
But you know what? We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna shut down the YouTube. I'll be right back, folks. Still recording. So yeah, I'm shutting down YouTube, guys. If you guys want to watch the rest of the show, tune in to the Raider and the State podcast at Spotify, Apple, iTunes, or was it Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. But I'm gonna stop it here because this is gonna be exclusive info, and I just want it on audio. So if you guys want to tune in, finish the rest of it, tune into the audio version. All right, I'll see you guys. Love you guys. Peace.